What's up guys, JK Disc Golf here, and today I'm going to be making a video that I've been wanting to make a very long time, guys. Today I'm going to be building the best disc golfer. So I have this template that I made. So as you can tell, we talk about the backhand drive, the forehand drive, the backhand mid-range, forehand mid-range, backhand approach, circle one putt, circle two putts, scramble, and clutch ability. I can only use one pro for each spot, and I have to make the best disc golfer I think possibly. So guys, if you want to do this, make sure you are playing along with me. Grab that template, put it on social media, put it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you guys want. Make sure to tag me so I can see your guys' ability. But today we're going to be building what I believe is the best disc golfer. But before we get into that, guys, you can check out the new background. It's a little blank right now. I hopefully will be adding to this background. I think the green screen was getting a little bit old when I wasn't actually adding something, so we're going to change it up a little bit. And as well, we have only 5 more JK Disc Golf hats, so if you want one, message me on Instagram at JK Disc Golf, guys. Like I said, 5 more. They are $25 shipped, so if you guys do want one, these will probably be the only time they'll ever be made, unless for some reason more people want them. But 5 more left if you guys want to check it out. But without further ado, let's build our best disc golfer. Alright, we're going to be jumping in on the template, and really guys, I think this is as simple as you can get. Wow, there it is guys, template done. We built the best disc golfer. Oh, alright, of course, just kidding, only can use 1 pro per spot, so obviously as much as we would like to just complete this template as is, let's build some actual great disc golfer. And actually the first slot we have is backhand drive, and this one is actually a little bit harder than I intended because there's so many good disc golfers who throw far, and I have other spots to fill, so I can't really spend a great disc golfer who has other great attributes. So if we're thinking about it, we have like Simon, Eagle, Thomas Gilbert. All these people throw so far, but we can only label one person at this spot, and I actually decided to choose Double G, guys. We have Garrett Gurthie on my backhand drive, and the reason I picked this is actually because of Simon's video way back at like the Las Vegas Challenge when he had a throw off with Simon. We could tell they threw basically similar distances. We saw Garrett Gurthie get like a 400 plus ace. We've seen him be able to throw massive amounts of distance, so that's a check. As well as even Simon said that Garrett Gurthie is such a good thrower in conditions that aren't really the best. So I think with all those attributes, Garrett Gurthie can throw far, he can throw accurate, he can take windy situations, rainy situations, maybe even snowy situations, and they can still be throwing consistently. I think that's kind of the attributes that put together to create the best backhand driver. Obviously, he's getting maybe not the farthest on tour. Maybe we can argue Simon or Eagle throw farther, but he's not that much more off, guys. He's pushing that 600-foot range, so I think that's why I'm picking Double G, not only because he's one of the best backhand drivers, but it also leaves a little bit more slots open for some of the other guys that I talked about. Going into the next one, we have forehand drive, guys, and actually this one might have been the most easy one to pick. I have to go with my boy Eagle McMahon, and the reason is because I don't think that anybody can get the crazy amount of distance Eagle can get. If you ask any pros, they'll tell you right away they don't know how Eagle gets this power, and to be frank, I don't think Eagle knows how he gets this power either, but for some reason he can absolutely crush a sidearm upwards to 500 feet, and with that distance, that's exactly the person I want as my forehand driver. If he can smash some hyzers going 400 plus feet, not a lot of people can do that. Definitely can't do it consistently, but as we've seen on tour, Eagle has just professionalized his forehand game, and it just absolutely blows my mind every time he does that. Even if you listen to the Bryan Earhart, The Buzz, a lot of people say what their most impressive thing that they've seen is Eagle's forehand. And if that's impressing pros, I don't know who that is not going to impress. So definitely for my forehand drive, my easiest pick goes to Eagle McMahon. The next category we have is backhand mid-range, and really this could be interpreted as 2 ways. It can either be interpreted as someone who throws the mid-range the best or someone who can nail that distance the best. And I kind of picked someone who can combine both of those categories together, and the reason I picked this player is really because of the Memorial. He stood out to me as one of the best mid-range throwers probably of all time, and if you guys haven't guessed already, I'm going with Drew Gibson. His ability to throw the buzz over 500 feet on a dime is just mind-blowing. If you guys haven't seen him throwing at the Memorial, holy cow, you guys need to check that out, because I really don't know anyone who else could throw these lines, especially with the buzz. Everyone was throwing with their 12-speed drivers over the trees, getting similar distance. Drew did not care, threw his buzz straight up the middle on a little bit of hyzer, and that thing just kept going and going and going. If that thing did not have the tree, honestly, it probably would still be flying to this day, guys. So Drew Gibson has kind of just impressed me throughout, basically, I would say the end of 2019 to now, seeing him push out videos and putting out a lot more content. We see him throwing that buzz, and I think that he might be the best buzz thrower of all time. That's a bold statement, but honestly, if you guys seen him throw, like, he's freaking good at it. And I think that he's definitely the person that I'm going to pick for that backhand mid-range slot, because I think he has that buzz so dialed in, and really, who wouldn't want to throw a buzz 500 feet? Next up, I have that forehand mid-range, and this person I'm picking because not only can he throw a forehand almost better than anybody else, but he has this distance locked. And again, I'm going back to the 2020 Memorial. Who really stood out to me is Nate Sexton, guys. He's kind of popularized himself based on that forehand, that Sexton Firebird. And really when I'm thinking mid-range, I'm thinking maybe 325 to like 200 feet-ish, somewhere around that range where I'm going to be really dialing on that mid-range. And we saw at the Memorial, Nate Sexton was just putting his discs in the spot he needed them to be at, especially with that Firebird. It seemed like when he was throwing that forehand that he could pick a spot on the ground and that disc was going right there, especially with that 300 to 250 range. He just seems so dialed in, and that's exactly what I wanted, someone who's going to be approaching or doing a little bit of farther approaches with the forehand. And Nate Sexton, to me, just seems very dialed in, and he's seemed dialed in for almost years now. He's kind of made that Sexton Firebird his staple disc. If you guys know the Sexton Firebird, you know what I'm talking about. And he just seems like he has that shot dialed in, and I feel like I wouldn't want to pick anybody else with this shot besides him. So Nate Sexton, I'm going with that mid-range forehand shot because I think that he does it the best on tour. All right, next, guys, we have the backhand approach shot. So this one, I'm going like 200 and in, not putting range. And this one might surprise some people. I really didn't expect myself to put this person in this slot, but he ended up kind of filling in perfectly in my eyes. And I'm actually going to go with Simon Lizotte. And the reason I'm thinking about this is really, what are the shots that you know Simon for besides the big crushes? It's that kind of flexy, finesse shot that he somehow always seems to put in the basket. He's obviously the trick shot master, and what are the kind of shots that he's using his trick shot for? This is like 250-foot P2 Sky God flex shot finessing, and somehow he always seems to get it in. If you're watching his vlogs, you know what I'm talking about, because it just seems like he's so dialed in. And that's pretty much the same on tour. He's giving so much shots that a lot of people wouldn't expect to go in, runs. He's really just putting his shot dialed in on the basket. And for some reason, it seems like he always thinks he's like in an ace race because he's always putting it on the pin. And for someone who wants great approaches, I don't see Simon Lizotte messing up a lot. He seems like he has that shot, especially with his new Sky Gods, just so locked in. And he's actually giving these discs, giving these shots a run. And that's exactly what I want in this spot. If he's making 1 out of every 20, that's another eagle or throw in for birdie opportunity that I want in the best disc golfer. And how often are we seeing him mess that shot up? Like, we've seen him mess up some drives. We've seen him miss some uncharacteristic putts, but how often have you really seen Simon Lizotte miss a 250-footer, not putting it in at least circle one? Because honestly, I can't figure out it, and that's kind of the reason that I picked him for this, because I couldn't think of time he messed that shot up. And really, watching his vlogs kind of signifies that to me, because I'm watching him throw these short approaches and just putting it under the pin every single time. So I'm definitely taking Simon Lizotte as my backhand approacher. Here for the forehand approach, this might surprise some of you guys, but to me, he's just so butter with the forehand approach. One person, I'm not going to say his name, you really would want to put in this spot, but I saved him for later. But this person, you might not know who he is. He's from Discraft. I kind of brought him up earlier. He does the Buzz podcast. It's Bryan Earhart. He really signifies himself with that zone finesse sidearm shot, and he does it so well, guys. It looks so effortless. If you guys don't know who Bryan Earhart is, definitely go check him out. He's been on some coverage, but he just has such a silky smooth finesse forehand shot. It looks like he's putting zero effort in it at all, but somehow it always comes out so clean and so nice. It seems like he just has this shot dialed in, and this is what his bread and butter is. It seems like this is just his shot. If he can play a course where it's just finesse sidearms, he might be the best in the world at it. And I mean, if you just watch some footage with him, he just looks so dialed in, so smooth, so consistent every single time. And that's why I'm picking Bryan Earhart as my forehand approacher, because I think that no matter 200 foot and in, that he can grab that zone, consistently throw it underneath the basket for some easy birdie opportunities. So Bryan, you are going to be my sidearm approacher. All right, so I already picked some big names on the list, and as we know, all these big names are going to be great putters, guys. So for the Circle 1 putter, I already used some of the people that I would really want to pick in this spot, but we're sticking to the rules with only one person per slot. So I'm going to actually go with James Conrad, and the reason I'm picking him is he doesn't miss a lot of putts. If we're looking at his stats and we're really watching footage of him, how often does he miss Circle 1 putts? Not really ever. I mean, when I really was introduced to James watching my coverage, I can't really remember the tournament, but he literally made like every single putt. And it was just crazy to see someone be so dialed in. Because obviously we think of a few people when we think Circle 1 putts initially, but I think James can really put himself into contention of one of the best Circle 1 putters. And I think putting him on this list, I think he deserves it. He's definitely making those Circle 1 putts, and I think that he does fill this spot. Maybe not the best ever, but if we're going to go sticking with the one person per spot, he fits that line perfectly. I can trust him on making putts. He does it so smoothly. It seems like it's just repetition at this point. So I think James Conrad is my Circle 1 putter. Will be making some putts. Going on then to Circle 2, guys, I don't know who you would put, but honestly, if you're not putting Adam Hammes in this spot, I think you just chose wrong. If you guys know who Adam Hammes is, you probably know him from his Circle 2 crazy jump putts. One round, I'm pretty sure he made like 8 jump putts, and they were just all absolutely filthy. He just is so dirty with that jump putt. He seems so dialed in, especially at the end of 2019. He was making some like 80 footers that like no one should make, but for some reason he was hitting them. And that's why I have to put him as my Circle 2 putter. I genuinely think that he is the best Circle 2 putter in disc golf right now, and that's why I have to put him in this slot. Doesn't matter if he can't keep that hat on, but he's still going to be the best Circle 2 putter in my eyes, and that's why I definitely need to put him on my list. Now, we talked a little bit about this guy. I didn't really want to spoil it because I knew you guys would know why I wasn't putting him on, but the best scrambler in disc golf is undoubtedly Ricky Wysocki, guys. I don't know if you either know him for his forehand approach with the pig or used to be the harp, or you know him from his scramble ability. He has put himself in some situations that I have no idea how he got out of. It seems like he's put in one of the worst situations, and he ends up underneath the basket. So this is why I have to put this guy as the best scrambler. Honestly, there's not many people I would ever think of being better than him, and I think genuinely, again, that he is the best scrambler in the game. Not many people can touch him just because he pulls out some crazy finesse shots that I don't think anyone else is capable of. Obviously, maybe a few here and there, but he's doing it so often, and it seems like almost every tournament you can pick out some highlight scrambles from him, and he's just putting himself in from a bad situation to an amazing one, and for that reason, I definitely have to put him as the best scrambler of my disc golfer. And the final slot for you guys, if you guys didn't know already, obviously I had to put Paul Macbeth on this list, and especially if I can only put him in one spot, I definitely have to put him for the most clutch, because how many Worlds has he won? How many big tournaments has he won in big situations? He just knows how to finish tournaments better than any other disc golfer on tour. He has that winner's mentality. He has that champion's mentality to where he's going to win no matter what. And I think that adversity doesn't get to him at this point. Obviously, everyone gets nervous, but I don't know how nervous he gets, guys. He's just winning every single tournament that I see him almost playing. Especially if we look back at 2015, Paul. If I could have that clutchness, I'd have the best disc golfer of all time, if we're being real. Because look how many putts that he makes in just weird situations. And honestly, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but if we're thinking about Maple Hill 2017, 2018 maybe, when he made the 120-foot jumper to stay tied, who can get more clutch than that, guys? He's just the definition of clutch at this point. He's won so many Worlds under super strict conditions to where he needs to make certain shots, and he does it the most consistent on any other disc golfer. And if you're, again, this is one of those slots where if you're not picking Paul in this spot, you're just wrong. It's just that simple, because he is the most clutch in the sport, and he really is just the GOAT at being clutch, guys. So that's why Paul is definitely filling in for this spot. Well, there you guys have it. That is my list for building the best disc golfer. If you guys want to try this little challenge or this fun little thing out, definitely save the template. You can go over to my Instagram if you want it that way, guys. Post it on social media. Tag me. I want to see your guys' best disc golfer. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have. If you want to put it in the comment section below, you can do that as well. Or you can go over to your other social media platforms. But always, make sure to tag me because I'm really interested in what you guys have to say. But if you enjoyed this kind of type of video, make sure to drop a like. I had such a good time thinking of all these categories, thinking and putting my specific spots in. I had a great time doing that. So make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe down below if you want to see more videos. And hit the bell to get notifications on all the new videos coming out during this kind of quarantine time. But as always, guys, make sure to keep throwing.